Hey YouTube, how's it going? It is 4:30 in the morning. Glorious 60 degrees out. So just a little bit nipply. Been a place I've never been before. Hamilton, Ohio. Looked like it might be a very pretty area. A little early in the day to get much footage, but thought I'd turn the camera on anyway. It's been an eventful night, to say the least. I did something that was pretty stupid, probably even for me. Got off work at 1 o'clock in the morning. I generally work till 1 a.m. I was heading to Cincinnati, Ohio, but I stopped at a Waffle House on the way out of town to hang out with one of my buddies for a minute. Met my buddy who also worked till 1 a.m. He's a nurse, I'm a nurse. Look at this guy. Man, he is a jamming down. I don't know if this will show up on camera or not. This guy in his driver's seat is just a headband over there. Anyway, finally getting to the point, and I hate to even admit this in a way because it was really stupid even for me. But I was sitting there hanging out with my buddy, getting a quick bite to eat, and down at the other end of the store, I see this guy that's sleeping at one of the tables. He's got his head down on the table, sleeping, and I wouldn't have normally even paid too much attention to that. But all he had on was like a pair of jogging pants and t-shirt, and was bundled up inside his shirt, and had his head just flat on the table. So I asked the cooks there what his story was, thinking it was just maybe somebody that was doped up, cracked out of their head, whatever, passed out at the table, and they made mention that he seemed like a pretty decent person, or wasn't doped or drunk or anything like that anyway, and made mention that he needed or he was getting ready to have to walk to Cincinnati. And I'm not a deeply spiritual or religious person, but I'm on my way to Cincinnati. Here's a guy needing to get to Cincinnati. I do believe for the most part in fate, even though sometimes that is I struggle with that one sometimes. But generally I believe in fate, and I'm sitting here in a restaurant, just my chance. I'm on my way to Cincinnati, and here's a guy needing to get to Cincinnati. Now, I'm on a motorcycle. I'm on a big fat cruiser, but I'm on a motorcycle. But as I'm sitting there hanging out with my buddy, laughing and having a good time, I keep looking over at this guy, and he just looks, no other way to say it, pathetic. In pathetic shape, rather. Not putting him down, or, that's not the way I mean it. It's almost heartbreaking looking over there and seeing somebody that, for whatever reason, is so far from where he's trying to be. He looked clean cut, didn't look, rough, per se. We'll get to that in a minute, that laugh, but, he looked clean cut, clean shaven, short cropped, clean cut haircut. Didn't look like trouble waiting to happen. Looked like your average Joe down on his luck. When my first thought, and I'm sorry ladies, my first thought was, here's a guy that's gotten away from home, got into a fight with his woman, got kicked out, and is trying to get back home to his family or something, yada yada. That's not what it was. So again, sorry ladies, I've had a rough go of it, a lot of years of my life I had a rough go of it with women, and they're not to blame for everything, but they do cause troubles here and there. So anyway, I'm contemplating it, and I'm thinking, man, any other night, maybe making this trip, I'd have been in my truck, You know, I'm on my bike, I can't really help this guy. You know, if I was in my truck, it'd be a different story. And, you know, I keep looking, and I keep looking. And he'll wake up for a minute, and then he'll put his head back down on the table, and he just looks miserable. And granted, man, it's only about 60 degrees out here right now. It's not warm. You know, and I'm laughing with a buddy, having a good time, and I'm looking at this poor soul sitting there, and he just looks a mess. So I told my buddy I was thinking about going over and offering to help him. I was sitting there, I was thinking, you know, I'm on a motorcycle, it's cold out, he'll never accept. I said, but he just looks like he's, you know, he's out of options. I mean, you know, you're sleeping at a table in a Waffle House and you're not drunk. That's pretty much out of options right there to me. It's certainly not something most people would ever do by choice. So, you know, I told my buddy I was thinking about going over and talking to him, and I even said I was even contemplating. I wasn't that far from home, even contemplating going back to the house and getting my truck. And you know, if this guy was, depending on the situation, if this guy really needed a ride that bad. So you know, I decided to go talk to him. My friend thinks I'm just nuts, you know, and of course I am. I mean, it was really fucking stupid. And anyway, we'll get more to that in a minute. So I go up and talk to the guy. I say, look, I said, I hear you're needing to go to Cincinnati. I mean, the waiter told me this guy was planning on walking there when the sun came up. And he says, yeah, I'm trying to get to Cincinnati. And I said, look, I said, I'm on a motorcycle. It's cold out. You know, I don't have an extra helmet, but I've got a jacket, an extra jacket, and gloves. And I had some other cold weather gear. I said, I'm heading to Cincinnati. I said, if you need a ride, I said, I'll take you as far as I'm going to Cincinnati. So, man, he's Johnny on the spot. He's all over that. He's, you know, he's dying for a ride to Cincinnati. And I'm like, look, you know, I'm on a bike. It's cold. You know, the gear I've got's okay, but it's going to be a cold ride. I mean, I'm full leather jacket, leather vest underneath, leather gloves, full face helmet, all of it, you know, because it's cool out tonight. It's like I said, it's about 60 degrees. But man, he's just dying for that ride. I was like, okay. I said, I'm gonna go finish chatting with my buddy in a minute, and I said, if you want to go with me, I said, I'll yell at you. So sure enough, I go tell my buddy, I said, yeah, he needs a ride. He's dying for that ride, yada, yada, yada. I said, before I walked away from him, I said, look, I need to know one thing. I said, I need to know that you're not drunk and that you're not on any drugs. And I said, it wouldn't be so bad if I was in my truck or in my vehicle. I said, but if you're on anything and you go to pass out on the back of that bike, I said, start to go down or fall off and try to, you know, and end up taking me with you. I said, I can't have that. I said, so I need to know. He said, no, I'm straight. I'm completely straight. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll give you a ride. So I go chat it out with my buddy and stuff, and you know, this is somebody I've never met before, don't know anything about him. Never did get the whole story anyway, but I talked to my buddy, told him I was going to give him the ride. I said, he looks fairly clean cut, you know, doesn't look like he's looking for trouble, just looks like he's desperate, okay? So we get ready to leave. Right next door to the Waffle House, there's a gas station. I said, look, I got to go over here and fill up before we, top off before we leave town. If you want to walk over here to the gas station, and I'll fill up, and then we'll leave from there. Sure. So I fill up. I'm pulling out this extra gear that I've got, jacket, gloves, got a neck guard, and I've even got one of those, hell, I forget what they're called now off the top of my head, that goes over your whole head and neck, kind of like a toboggan. I could think of if I hadn't If I hadn't tried to think of it, I'd know it. But anyway, so he's decking all this up, and I said, so you know, if you don't mind me asking how you ended up so far from home or where you're going, stranded. First thing he starts talking about is jail and parole. I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? So, didn't get the whole story. Something about breaking parole, but turning himself in. And apparently he went to wherever he was at. You know, I picked him up in Lexington, and he eventually told me that he got off the bus in Lexington. And I guess that was the closest bus station to his home, or that was as close as he had the money to get to his home, in Hamilton, Ohio. Anyway, said that apparently he went to turn himself in, and they told him that he could go back home, which is apparently Hamilton, Ohio, and turn himself in there so that he wouldn't be re-locked up for breaking parole in Lexington or wherever it was he was at before he got off the bus. I don't know. After that, I kind of just tried not to ask any more personal questions, because I was about to hop on the bike and fly away. But like I said, didn't seem like he was looking for trouble. He was honest by admitting that. Doesn't necessarily make him a bad person. I didn't ask him what he'd done to get on parole. I just said, okay, I am packing, a gun, by the way. I most always carry a gun with me. I have my concealed carry. And if you watch my previous videos, I've mentioned that most of the time, as far as riding gear, most of what I wear will be like a leather vest. And that's not so much for protection from going down, it's protection as far as carrying my concealed carry, carrying my pistol that I carry with my concealed carry, because it has concealed carry pockets in it. So I've got my pistol, in my vest here. And 5 minutes into the trip, I kept beating myself up, saying, what are you doing? You're fucking crazy. You got this guy on the back of your bike, and all I could think about is he's probably lying, like I've been lied to a million times about somebody being on drugs or being drunk, and he's gonna fall off this fucking bike, and at the last second he's gonna realize he's falling, he's gonna grab me and take me down with him. It would have been bad enough if I was in my truck and give somebody like this a ride that I didn't know, and questionable history. But here I'm on a motorcycle, and that's pretty dangerous for me, and it's not just that I'm worried about me, it's I've got other people dependent upon me, other people that would be heartbroken, if this guy caused me to go down. But mostly just people that depend on me for their livelihood, my job, my income, etc. I kept thinking of all these different scenarios of how this was going to bite me in the ass. And I made it almost all the way to Cincinnati. I was really only going to Cincinnati, but he told me he was really going further than Cincinnati to this place, Hamilton, Ohio, which ended up being about a half an hour past where I was going. But honestly, I've got nowhere to be. I enjoy riding. It's a little bit chilly out, but I got my gear on, so better pay attention here. I've got my gear on. It's a little chilly out, but it's not bothering me because I'm well geared and I enjoy riding. I said, I said, yeah, because I was looking at having to drop this guy off in Cincinnati, knowing that from Cincinnati he's stuck again, and he's, it's been a great leap forward to where he's trying to get to, but here he is in Cincinnati, and then he's going to be stuck again. And I'm just one of those people, especially once I start into something, it was about as far past where I was going as I would have been willing to go, but nonetheless, I said, look, I got nowhere to be for another several hours. If you want to go ahead and, if you're not too cold and you want to tough it out and make it the rest of the way, I'll take you on to where you're going. Oh, he, you know, it's absolutely, yeah, of course, yeah, love you, just be a lifesaver. So, ended up driving about another 30-some minutes past my destination to take him to his apartment. Apparently his home. Like I said, I never did get the whole story, but once we got there, he's like, oh yeah, my apartment's right there, and there's an apartment complex, and yada, yada, yada. Dropped him off. He was very appreciative. You know, thank you so much. So he got to where he was going, and he didn't have to walk, and he didn't have to hitch rides, you know. I don't know that if we crossed paths for a reason, and I was supposed to be there to take him to Cincinnati. I don't know if, you know, I don't know. I just happened to be in a place where somebody needed help. And generally if I see someone that needs help, I will try to help them. It doesn't cost me anything. This didn't end up costing me anything except for a little bit of extra gas going the extra 30 minutes out of my way. So like I said, I was going there to Cincinnati anyway, ended up going 30 minutes, you know, further. That's no big deal. I took a chance on him. He, you know, turned out to be okay. Didn't cause me any problems. He was completely sober and sociable the whole way up here, although we didn't really talk when we was on the bike. But yeah, I took a chance on him. Like I said, it didn't cost me anything. It worked out. Didn't have any problems. Dropped him off. Went on my merry way. Now I'm on my way back to Cincinnati. But, you know, I'm kind of curious to get your feedback on this one. You know, as far as what you would have done or not done in that situation. Thoughts on it. Tell me how fucking stupid I was. This is one of those, you know, times that I would take that feedback and understand. I just felt like, you know, that's just too big of a coincidence with him needing to go to Cincinnati and me being on the way that maybe I was meant to take it. I could be wrong. Could be just one of those mad coincidences that didn't mean anything and I was just an idiot for giving him a ride. But it worked out, like I said, it didn't cost me anything, so there you go. If you want to comment, feel free. I've got like a whopping 17 subscribers right now, so it's not like too many people's going to be commenting. But, you know, maybe down the road I'll have more and somebody will have something interesting to say and we'll get to hash it out. But that's it for tonight, folks. I'm out of here. I'm not far from my destination and it's past my bedtime. Have a good one.